These days, hip-hop comes in many different styles and subgenres, but I want to talk about the real hip-hop, the kind we grew up listening to, and I'm talking about boom bap and its logical evolution, modern boom bap. But what exactly is this style? Well, personally for me, this is hip-hop, the classic hip-hop, like Nas, Wu-Tang Clan, DJ Premier, Das EFX, and many other hip-hop legends. But where did the name boom bap come from? Boom bap is actually the sound imitation of the powerful kick and snare, boom bap. Boom bap. The term first appeared in 1984 on the track It's Yours by Tila Rock. You've definitely heard it somewhere.
It's yours.
Listen to what he says at the end of the track. So he's literally mimicking the sound of the drums with his voice. But let's be clear, that's still an old school sound, and boom bap as a proper genre hadn't fully formed yet. In 1988, when samplers like the SP1200 and Akai MPC60 became more available, producers actively started sampling funk and soul drums from the 70s. These samplers had low beat depth and sample rate, so they sounded dirty and fat. When producers sampled the drum breaks into them, and especially when they were processed, the drums hit hard. And that was the foundation of the boom bap sound. And by the early 90s, boom bap had become a very present subgenre. Just listen to the track New York State of Mind, you'll understand everything.
Rappers are monkey flipping with.
Like I said, most music at that time was made using the SP1200 or MPC60, and the workflow of these samplers played a huge role in shaping the sound of boom bap. So let me break it down for you. Firstly, short loops were used because the samplers had only about 10 seconds of sampling time, and to record more information into the sampler, producers had this trick. They sped up the vinyl record player, they pitched it up, recorded it, and then pitched it down on the SP1200 or MPC60. And that process distorted the sound. It gave a lot of crunch and dirt that we still love today. Secondly, the BPM of the tracks was usually from 90 to 100 and even more. That was due to sampling the drum breaks from the funk and soul records, where musicians like James Brown and many others would play their drums in a more fast-paced way.
Oh, get it!
And thirdly, of course, there were no computers with modern plugins and effects, and some simple tools were used, like filter, EQ, compression. And for example, to separate the bass from the melody and the melody from the bass, producers would use simple filters. And now let's fast forward to present days. Even though modern styles like trap, drill, cloud rap and other subgenres are popular right now, boom bap is still alive. And since the 2010s, it has evolved into what we call now modern boom bap hip-hop. It is not just a label, there are real differences in the sound. Personally, I'd say that there are 5 key elements that define modern boom bap. So if you want to produce modern boom bap, follow these guidelines. Step 1. Loops are still used, but slicing and rearranging them are much more common. And today I'm going to sample this wonderful record from 1981, made in Bulgaria. The track that I'm going to sample is on that side. Just listen to it. It's just a guitar, but the groove is fantastic. I'm going to use just this small part and then rearranging it into something new. This recorded sample is basically a loop, which I chopped into many parts because later on I'm going to rearrange something. So all of the parts are accessible because I chopped it this way. We have some development in here, no, not in here. Yes, this part. However, as I already mentioned, we have stem separation now, even on our MPC in standalone mode, so we can separate the vocals from the melody, and somewhere later I remove the vocals and it will give me some extra space for creativity. Step 2. For the drums in modern boom bap, producers usually use one-shots. Kick, snare, hi-hat and everything else. Of course, drum breaks are still used and producers slice them, rearrange them or sample them as they play. And for the drums, I am going to use my sample pack that I recorded. This fourth drum break which I loaded here. However, this drum break, again, it is chopped into one-shots, so to say. So right here I have kick, ghost kick, snare, hat, open hat. 1/16, let's record. Originally, the drum breaks that producers sampled were from funk or soul music, and there were a lot of drum break, drum rolls, like this. So let's add it to the end of our verse. And of course, you have to be authentic, so when there are drum breaks and drum rolls, you have to delete everything from underneath. Because in the real drum set, you can't play everything at once if you are playing with two sticks, and when you are playing drum rolls, you can't have anything happening down below. And of course, layering the drums and percussions is still the core part of modern boom bap. Of course, layering helps to shape the sound, and in this scenario, I'm going to use the percussion loop from another 7-inch vinyl record, which sounds like this. And it reminds me of the sample Commodores. Very famous sample, but from the Balkan countries. Step 3. For modern boom bap, producers like using synthesizers and VST synthesizers. And of course, VST plugins, we have a lot of them nowadays. To record the bass, I can use a synthesizer plugin, which I can create by a new track, plugin. However, for this beat, I'm going to use a key group. What is a key group? We take a sample, which is a one-shot from Splice, and we play the sample as if it's a keyboard. Basically how producers used Ensoniq in the 90s. And please always check the root note of the sample. This is very important because in this scenario, it's an A. So I go to samples, 1, 2, 3, and right here where it says root note, I select A. If it was C or B or anything else, it would mess everything up, because later on in pad parameter, you will select the notes, the chord, and the C note would be something different, the G note would be something different, and all of the notes would be shifted and messed up. You don't need this, so please check the tuning, check the root note of the original one-shot somewhere in the MPC or in the DAW. Step 4. The tempo for modern boom bap has slowed down. Usually it's from 80 to 90 BPM. And if we talk about Griselda, it's even less than 80. This beat is quite slow-paced yet very energetic, and the BPM that I selected is 82. However, in the original boom bap, I guess it would be something higher, like 95 for example. It would sound something like this, and I need to tune this sample as well. Producers tend to use a slower BPM, and the range from 80 to 84 is the sweet spot quite often. In step 5, this is the element that defines boom bap and modern boom bap sound. And for me personally, the pioneer and the representative of this key element is DJ Premier, and I'm talking about scratches. Scratches for hip-hop hooks, scratches for the intro. This is very hip-hop. This is very boom bap. And while we were recording this, we tended to use the style of DJ Premier because he uses phrases and he has space in the hooks and between the scratches. It's not constant cuts and cuts and cuts. The gaps in between the scratches of DJ Premier let the beat breathe actually. And we scratched the phrases from the very famous freestyle by Biggie. I tow guns, I make number runs. And so all together, the track sounds like this. And I remind you that if you want to learn these instruments professionally, MPC, Push 3 or Roland, sign up for a lesson or course with me. The link is in the description. And of course, if you want to learn more about sampling in hip-hop, you can watch these videos right here. They are very informative. See you later. Bye.